child, he was sickly as a child. He lived in the country, and he used to daydream in school. Because he wanted to be out there. He didn't want to be in school. And he was always healthier when he was outside, playing in the grass and smelling the flowers and whatever you do in England. And when he became a young man, he worked in his father's foundry and was really interested in people, and was obviously he was sensitive. He already could feel things with his hands. But anyway, he realized that people would have the flu, but they'd all have very different symptoms, because this person would come up with a cough and this one would have a stomachache, but they both would be given the same medicine. And that always upset him. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he went to medical school. He went to medical school, and realized that medical school was not it. And that he wasn't going to get what he needed from being a physician, regular physician. So then he went into homeopathy. Actually came up with some nosos that are still used today in homeopathic circles, but he had to be in London, and that made him sick because of the city. He wanted to get back to the country. So back to the country, and he began, walking through the fields and whatever, and he discovered that there was energy on the flowers when there was dew on the flowers. So he would touch the dew, and he would see that mimulus dew was different than, say, impatiens dew. It was a different vibration. So he started working with that. And he worked with local farmers and local other people, and wanted to work with the common folks. And he said, homeopathy is really too complicated, because there's thousands of remedies, and it's just too much for the common folks to do. But I want this to be a simple solution. And he came up with 38 remedies. And he distilled it all. When he was making notes and taking notes, he didn't leave a lot of his anecdotal records. He wanted to make it very precise, which is too bad, because in its preciseness it isn't as full, as it could be. But still, it's the basis for all of our other flower remedies, and now there are so many people that make flower remedies, including me, and you can learn how to do that too. They're just amazing. And he says the difference between homeopathic remedies work on like cures like. Okay. These don't. These work on flooding you with the opposite vibration. Okay. So if you don't feel protected, it gives you protection. Okay. So he calls it a step up in consciousness. I don't know that that's actually his words, but that's what he's meaning. That this is the next level advancement to go to, because we don't need to do combat anymore, which is like cures like. That's more like an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Okay. This is more the new consciousness. It's very spiritual. He really was trying to decide whether to be a clergyman or a doctor when he was, younger in school. And actually, what happened when he became a doctor and then went into these herbs, the medical community threatened him and said, "We're going to take your license away, because you're doing something that's really crazy. We don't like it." And he said, "Okay, that's fine. I'll just call myself an herbalist." He never did take his license away, but he was like cool with that. So, I think he's really pretty special. It's very interesting. He made the 38. He discovered the 38, and then pretty soon after that he passed. It was like that was his reason for being here. And as soon as he discovered those and left that legacy, then he passed. He was sickly off and on, but like when we focus on something positive, like during the World War, it must have been World War I, everybody else, all the other doctors had to go to war, and so he was left in the wards in England, and he actually, came stronger and better because he was focusing on what he had to do to heal people or help them heal. Yeah, so, but I think really he was here for that purpose, and then that was it. We don't think about things like that, that we think, oh, that person died early, but maybe not. Maybe that's all he was supposed to do, and if he did any more, it would have gotten too complicated. So I get chills, and I just think he's still around, helping the rest of us do this work. So he has some beautiful, wonderful things that he says that I love. about medicine and whatever. I love this one. You'll get this booklet in a minute. Disease will never be cured or eradicated by present materialistic methods, for the simple reason that disease in its origin is not material. What we know as disease is the ultimate result produced in the body, the end product of deep and long-acting forces. And even if material treatment alone is apparently successful, this is nothing more than a temporary relief, unless the real cause has been removed. The modern trend of medical science, by misinterpreting the true nature of disease and concentrating it in materialistic terms in the physical body, has enormously increased its power, firstly by distracting the thoughts of people from its true origin, and hence from the effective method of attack, and secondly by localizing it in the body, thus obscuring true hope of recovery and raising a mighty disease complex of fear, which never should have existed. Isn't that good? Oh my gosh. Whew. I've always loved that quote. It's like, yes, it just hits it right on, you know. It's like, whoa, that is so good. So you get that anyway with some of his writing. He's done a lot of